Hey guys, what's going on? Fred London here. You guys know what to do. As always, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're talking about a couple different stories. Make sure you watch the whole video. I think you'll enjoy. Let's go. So the first story, Chelsea contact club and agent, player wants Premier League move, gives preference to Blues. And as you can see, this is about Philippe Coutinho, and it goes on in the article that we covered earlier this month that Chelsea and Tottenham were after him, but they cooled their interest in him. So they weren't too fussed on the Coutinho deal anymore. The 27-year-old is currently on loan at Bayern Munich, and the ongoing Bundesliga season, which resumed last week, is expected to finish on June 27th. So if we're gonna see any sort of solidity of this happening, it'll be around that date. We might see the season end and then maybe Chelsea announce it then, or maybe even before then. It depends. Some players don't like to do any dealings until the season's done, just for the sake of respecting the fan base, the clubs and stuff like that. But we'll see. That's just a little note to keep in mind. But journalist Miguel Rico, right on the last page of Mundo Deportivo, contradicts what was reported by Sport on Chelsea's interest. He further adds that the Blues have contacted the Catalan club and the former Liverpool star agent Pierre Jorbjan. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce that. My best go anyway. The Brazilian international wants to return to the Premier League this summer and will give preference to join Frank Lampard's side over other suitors. So I remember hearing news about Newcastle coming after him. I want to say it was maybe Leicester was another club, definitely Tottenham. There's a few different clubs that are after him, but it says that the La Liga winners have set an asking price of 80 to 90 million euros for the playmaker, but the Blaugrana are ready to sell the playmaker to the club which comes closest to meeting their demands. So basically, Barcelona aren't too fussed. They're like, I don't care where you go, we're not bothered, as long as we can get rid of you for a decent fee, then we're kind of happy. So it's good news if we want to get Coutinho, because 80 to 90 million euros isn't too much for a player of his level. Of course, he is 27, so hitting the prime of his career as well, you're going to really want a player like Coutinho at your club. So I'd be very happy to take Coutinho. And, it says Barca's idea is to sell the South American by the end of next month. Mundo end their report by stating, we are facing the closest thing to a Coutinho auction. So basically, apparently clubs are like, I'll put 50 odd million, and then that goes alright, 60, 65, 70. It's just going up and up and up until someone gets close to that 80 to 90 million, and then maybe they'll accept one then, or maybe there'll be multiple clubs, and then it'll go down to where Coutinho wants to go. And as you can see by that article, it mentions that Chelsea is the preference. So that's good news for us, because I think a lot of our fan base would want him. If we take a look at his stats here, Philippe Coutinho has made 32 appearances this season. He has 8 goals, 6 assists, and an average rating of 7.29, which isn't too bad at all. People call him sort of like the Barcelona flop because he's gone to Bayern on a 2-year loan and hasn't lit the world alight, I guess. Like, he's not in double digits for both categories of goals and assists, but he's certainly not doing bad. Like, an average rating of 7.29, pretty much a 7.3, is very good, and I would be happy to bring Coutinho to the club. It worries me, as I've said before when we talked about this, is Mason Mount and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. If we're playing, let's just say our starting lineup is striker Tammy Abraham, left wing Christian Pulisic, right wing Callum Hudson-Odoi, maybe Sancho, we mention it all the time. Centre attacking mid, I guess you'd go Ziyech, unless Ziyech's on the right. So you've got Callum, Pulisic, Ziyech at the moment, and then maybe another winger coming in, most likely. You got those three, one of them is going to be playing in the centre attacking midfield role. Where does Coutinho fit in? So if it's then Pulisic, Hakim Ziyech on the right, and Coutinho in the middle, then Callum's missing out. There's no need for us to sign a big winger, because we'll have Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech, so we're not going to be getting anyone like Sancho. And in that central role, you're missing out on Mason Mount, who can play centre mid and on the wing sort of, but ideally is in the centre attacking role. And Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who again is the centre attacking midfielder, or can just be a centre midfielder, but you've got Jorginho, Kovacic, Kante for that role. So getting Coutinho does mean that someone is most likely going to be going, whether it's out on loan, whether it means that we're just going to have to sell one of Mason Mount or Ruben, or definitely like Ross Barkley's in that position as well, even though I think he's first gone, but it doesn't matter. Like, it proves that there's so much competition in this side that someone's going to get dropped, and it's an iffy one because Coutinho, yes, he'd be a great buy because he's a great player, but do we really want to end up with another Mohamed Salah or a Kevin De Bruyne or a Lukaku situation where we bin him off, we're like, hey, we got better options, comes back to bite us in the ass because turns out they turned into pretty good players in the end. So it's something to think about, like we could have had a front line of Salah, Lukaku, Kevin De Bruyne and Hazard or something like that. Like that would have been insane, but it wasn't to be because of potentially a mistake like this where we bring someone in who, sure, they're great, but what about these players that are younger and looking to build up to that level? Are we going to have them miss out on it? It's a dangerous thing, but let me know what you guys think on this one down in the comment section below. Then on to the next story. N'Golo Kante, Chelsea midfielder prepared to miss rest of Premier League season if it resumes. Let's go through the article by Sky Sports. This is just he's been missing training because of the coronavirus pandemic. France International has been given permission to train at home. He has the full support of manager Frank Lampard and the club's board. But first off, like that is all the article is, by the way, is just no in on that. So Kante not going to be playing the rest of the season potentially. He said he's prepared to miss it. Whether that's Sky Sports interpreting it by the fact that he's not been in training because of he's had some awful situations happen during this whole thing. So I completely support Kante during this. By the way, that's just a little disclaimer. I'm absolutely on Kante's side. I think if he doesn't want to train, if he doesn't want to come risk his family's and his own health, absolutely fine. I've got no problem with it. Obviously, as a Chelsea fan, I'm a bit gutted if the season does go ahead because it means we don't have N'Golo Kante in our midfield. And of course, we've seen him this season sort of playing through injuries, injured and then back and then injured again, and it wasn't a great time for him. Of course, we can take a look at his stats. This season, he's made 18 appearances, got 3 goals, 0 assists, with an average rating of 6.89. So, not the worst season in the world, but not N'Golo Kante as we know it. Certainly not that level. And I think we were all pretty excited to think, during this whole break that we've had to have, Ruben's coming back. He's going to be fitter than ever in terms of actual fitness, match fitness, not so much, but everyone's going to have to build up their match fitness again. Kante was another one that we all thought, he's been injured for a long time this season. Now is his chance to get fully fit, and we'll see the best of Kante again, because he's had a big old break from the end of last season. It seemed like he was just spread too thin. Now he's had time to work himself back up, get fit, and we'll see the best of Kante again. And then, this drops, and it's like, again, I support Kante during it, but it is going to suck for us because, he's a key to our midfield, not so much in that, he's not the Conte era and the Leicester era of Kante as we know it. He doesn't change the game as much as he used to. But damn, we do miss him sometimes, and definitely a midfielder that I want starting in my team. So without him, we got the option of Jorginho, Kovacic, Mason can play there, Ruben can kind of play there, Billy Gilmore, that certainly opens up opportunities for him, which is good. So we'll see. This may well be Sky Sports just interpreting it as well, he missed 1 or 2 training sessions, so that means he's happy to miss all of them, and that might not be the case. He might just be like, look, I'm just going to sit it out until the games maybe have a definitive date or something, then I'm going to come back and have a pretty intense training session to get me fit, and then he'll be ready to go. It could be that, we don't know, but I really wish we could have Kante, but I fully respect the man's decision. He's been through a lot, and compassionate leave seems fair, to let him go and sort of deal with things as it is. I'm fine with it. In terms of the Premier League coming back in general, I think my personal take on it is I was very excited for the Premier League to come back. We've all been saying, we miss football. And then, now that it's actually happening, I kind of don't want it to happen. Not because I don't want football to happen. Of course, I love watching football. I'm dying to watch football. But it's more of the sense of it feels a little too soon. It feels like it's being rushed. And if it can be done safely, I'm absolutely happy. I'll watch it. Of course, either way, I'll watch it, but I'll support it more so. Whereas at the moment, it does feel a little bit like it's being forced to come back, and there's still players testing positive, which means that they're going to have to miss out on training up until this potential date that the league starts again. And it just concerns me. I really hope we're not rushing into it too quick, and it's going to cause, not directly, of course, but cause a spike in cases, and we see, you know, that it having to go on hold again, and then it means it's delayed longer, whereas had we just waited, then maybe it would have come back a little smoother. But in general, I just want football back, but only in the right way. That's sort of my vibe there. But that is going to be the end of the video, guys. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.